Hello, BookTube. This is the How Do You book tag. It was created by Sean D. Stanfast, and the link to his original tag will be down below. Question number 1. Do you read more than one book at a time? If yes, what are you reading? And do you read one book at a certain time of day and another at another time of day? I read one book at a time. When I was a college student, I could do multiple books at a time because as an English lit major, I have several books I have to be reading at one time for my classes. So at the time, as a student, I would read multiple books at a time. But now that I don't have that necessity, I read one book at a time. So, yeah. Much more organized, works just better for me. I tried, I think a few months ago maybe, to read several books at once and it just didn't work for me. So I just read one book at a time. Question number 2. How do you organize your library? I used to organize my library alphabetically by author. But I've recently broken it up into roughly 4 parts. My desk has 2 shelves where I have my writing books. And then I have a large science fiction and fantasy collection. There is a 2-sided shelf I use to start the science fiction fantasy books, and then they move on to this bookshelf here and continue to these bookshelves here, which I have organized in alphabetical order by author. I'll get to that in prompt number 3. So we'll save that for next. And then I have, you can see right here-ish, right there, is a small bookshelf. It's the sibling to this one here that I have my history books on. And then I have 2 shelves on my headboard and 2 long wall shelves that I put my random nonfiction, really non-science fiction and fantasy fiction, and anything else. It's just a general potpourri. The history shelves and the random literature aren't really organized in any way. They're just put up willy-nilly or as size allows. So prompt number 3. Do you ever get the urge to reorganize your library in a different way? Late last year and early this year, I wanted to sort of redo my science fiction and fantasy bookshelves and make it a little bit more random, make it a little bit more thought out, if that makes sense. But I tried it and it was a complete and total disaster. I hated it. I completely hated it. But I am planning on rearranging my science fiction and fantasy shelves. My history shelves are filled, and so I need more space for them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bookshelf where my history ship books are now, move it from where they are, which is right there, to the foot of my bed, and then start my science fiction and fantasy collection on that shelf, and then continue on to the one side of the 2-sided bookcase. It's a shelving unit, but I use it as a bookcase, and then continuing on to an empty bookcase that I got from my brother, and then continue on to the other side of the 2-sided bookcase, and then ending up on this one right here, and then using these 2 shelves for my history and nonfiction books. hopefully it'll work, hopefully it won't. I'm also possibly going to be getting another bookcase here sometime soon. And I'm not entirely sure whether it'll go where the former history bookcase is, or if I can put them somewhere else. I'll wait and see on that. Yeah. And then I'm thinking of trying to get maybe one or two more bookcases as the need arises. Right now, I really don't need any more bookcases except to just fill empty space in my room. But at the rate I'm going to be needing them soon because I'm picking up books like mad, which you will be seeing when I do my March book haul. Prompt number 4. Who's your favorite small finer press publisher? That is a tough one. Generally speaking, because particularly like say within science fiction and fantasy, a lot of them kind of sort of look like they're small presses, but they're actually like distributed by a larger press. Like I think Angry Robot is distributed by Simon & Schuster, or it might be Random Penguin, or Penguin Random House. But I would go with like Angry Robot, Orbit, Peer for science fiction, and maybe the University of Texas Press or Harvard Press, even though I guess since they're university presses, they're kind of a bit larger. I'm not entirely sure. But I would go with maybe Angry Robot, Orbit, and Peer. Question number 5. Can you recall every book you have in your library? Or are there books you find on your shelves that seem to have just showed up? My library is currently small enough that I can remember all of them. I mean, where I bought them, whether I've read them or not, which, no, I haven't read all of them yet. I really need to get around to that. But, yeah, so I pretty much remember all of the books in my library and know that they belong there. Question number 6. Do you collect bookmarks? I don't necessarily collect bookmarks as I accumulate them. I have, Book Depository. Every time they send you a book, they include a bookmark. My local library has bookmarks that you can take and use, free to use. I picked one up from the Friends of the Library book sale, which was advertising which advertises next year's or this year's sale. But I don't necessarily collect them as objects themselves. I used to have, when I was in 6th grade, I took home ec, and the last project we did, I think it was the last project, was sewing. And the teacher had us cross-stitch some cloth bookmark designs. And Mom had something similar to that from somewhere out where, and I would like to collect those or even do those, but I haven't really seen anything like that in a while. But I mean, that would be something I would like to collect, would be those cloth stitched bookmarks, cross-stitched bookmarks. But anyway, so that was the how do you tag, and if you're interested in doing this tag, consider yourselves tagged, and I will see you soon with a weekly reads and maybe March of the Writers. So until then, BookTube, I will see you later.